Do you guys remember back in like early 2020 or like late to mid 2021, there was that TikTok that went viral with the affirmation, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me simply finds me. If not, I've linked it down below for you in the show notes. But basically, on today's podcast episode, we are going to be talking about this viral affirmation, I don't chase, I attract, and the truth behind what it means for you and your manifestations.
What's up, and welcome to the No Bullshit Manifestation Show, the podcast that demystifies all of the nonsense that surrounds manifestation and gives you a realistic view of what it's like to be on a personal, professional, and spiritual growth journey. I'm your host, Kat Kozad, manifestation and money mindset expert, and I'm so happy you're here. Let's fucking do this thing.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. I am recording today's podcast episode from London, England. I'm so excited to be over here for the next 10 days. Just booked this trip impromptu 2 weeks ago and decided that it was time for me to come spend some time in London. And I am actually a dual citizen of the UK, for any of you who haven't been here since the beginning and don't know that part of my story. But my mom was born and raised in England and came over to the US, met my dad, fell in love, had me and my brother. The rest is history. But very luckily for me and my brother, we're actually dual citizens to the UK and are able to come over here, be here for extended periods of time, and just connect with our family and all of the beautiful culture and experiences that England has to offer, and especially London. I'm currently staying in East London, which is a very like up and coming, fun, trendy, hipster area, and I'm about to go explore. But before I explore, I wanted to record this podcast episode for all of you because this is something that I have really been inspired by recently and thinking about recently, which is affirmations in general, but specifically the viral affirmation, I don't chase, I attract. What belongs to me simply finds me. Because like I said in the intro, back in, it was either 2021 or 2022, there was a TikTok video that stated this affirmation and it spread like wildfire. This is the by far biggest, most viral affirmation I have ever seen. And it's changed so many people's lives. It's changed so many people's manifestations. But for a lot of people, they've started saying this affirmation or they've wanted to root down into this belief and it hasn't worked for them in the same way. So I wanted to talk to you today about the truth behind this affirmation and maybe why it hasn't worked for you in your life so far. So when I first was introduced to the affirmation of I don't chase, I attract, what belongs to me simply finds me, I remember having this like full body chills moment of like, holy shit, yes, this is the truth for me. It was like a deep soul knowing of like, oh, this is true for me. Like, I don't have to chase. I don't have to effort so hard. I don't have to hustle in order to manifest and attract the things that I desire into my life. And it really felt like this homecoming to my soul and to my truth. But then as I started to just go about my day-to-day life, my actions and my behaviors were not in congruence with the belief of I don't chase, I attract. So what do I mean by this? What I mean is that although I loved the idea of this affirmation and I loved the idea of not chasing the things that I desired in my life, I loved the idea of just attracting them by simply being me, I had an entire lifetime's worth of subconscious conditioning that told me otherwise. Based off of what I experienced growing up and the perception that I had of myself at the time, I didn't believe I was the kind of person who could naturally, effortlessly attract the things that I desired into my life. And so because that was the subconscious narrative that was running in the back burner, and although I was consciously trying to shift it to be I don't chase, I attract, we always follow in suit with what our subconscious beliefs are, because the subconscious mind makes up 95% of the human brain and is typically formed between ages 0 to 7 by our parents, primary caregivers, friends, teacher, media, society, so on and so forth. And so all of these things that we learn about ourselves and we learn about life, such as you must work hard for what you want, or that you're not the kind of person who can just naturally have what they want, or you are not worthy, or whatever it may be, then that subconscious narrative is going to dictate your behaviors and your actions. So for me, at that time, I had done some of the inner work. I had really started to take this deep dive into it, but I was still peeling back so many layers. And what I realized with this affirmation of I don't chase, I attract, was that although I was saying that to myself, I was actually chasing after everything in my life. I was chasing after money. I was chasing after success. I was chasing after boys. I was chasing after friendships. I was chasing after literally everything. And so even though I was telling myself and saying the affirmation of I don't chase, I attract, my actions and my behaviors were telling me otherwise. My actions and my behaviors were reaffirming the limiting beliefs that I had about myself and what I was capable of. So therefore, I continue to strengthen those old beliefs. I continue to strengthen the old neural pathways inside of my subconscious mind that continue to lead me to believe that I had to chase what I wanted in my life to make it my reality. And so one thing I want to share with you is that one of the most important things to note when it comes to the manifestation process is that there are two very important components that you need in order to remove old belief systems and old habits and behaviors and create space for you to implement new supportive beliefs as well as new supportive behaviors and actions. And that is deep subconscious reprogramming and somatic healing to help you actually remove the stagnant energy or trauma that is living on the physical and energetic level of your body. And so going back to where I was at and what I was experiencing at that time, I didn't realize that I needed to actually create more space. And by creating space, what I mean is remove, get rid of, eliminate those old unsupportive beliefs, those old limiting beliefs, as well as actually somatically heal from the different experiences, traumas, so on and so forth that I had and I had experienced throughout my life that continue to have me reaffirm this pattern of chasing to get what I wanted. Because when it comes to specifically affirmations, one of the biggest misconceptions that I see about manifestation, and I see so many people experiencing and then getting frustrated with and then believing that manifestation is a bunch of bullshit, is that they will just say affirmations, or they'll write their affirmations in their journal. They'll say, I'm abundant, I am abundant, I am abundant, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. I don't chase, I attract, I don't chase, I attract, so on and so forth. You can say that all day long to yourself, but if there is not a action or a behavior that supports that, as well as space for you to actually plant the seed of that and have that seed grow, then you're going to find yourself back in the old patterns of the past. And that is essentially the truth of this affirmation. A lot of the times you will see that affirmations are quote unquote working for other people, but I can tell you that that is because they either have the space in order to be able to implement it into their lives, or they don't have a limiting belief or some sort of trauma that is blocking them from integrating it, implementing it, and embodying it in the first place. And so if you've been the kind of person that has had a hard time manifesting what you desire into your life, or who has heard an affirmation like, I don't chase, I attract, and you've been like, oh, yes, I want that to be true for me, but I don't know how it can be, or I'm believing that this is true for me, but yet I'm not attracting what I desire into my life, what I want you to know is that the reason that your brain and your body isn't accepting it is because your brain and your body currently believes that those limiting beliefs and the stagnant energy and the trauma that you're holding on to is safer than accepting the truth of I don't chase, I attract. And I'm going to say that again, and I'm going to really break this down. Your brain and your body currently believes that it is safer for you to hold on to the limiting beliefs and to hold on to the trauma and stagnant energy than it does to embrace a new supportive truth. Why is this true and why does this happen? The reason that this happens is because our body's number one job is to keep us safe. And although consciously you can look at those limiting beliefs and be like, oh, they're so fucking annoying, or they're not actually doing anything to protect me, or that trauma from the past that you're continuing to hold on to, maybe not mentally, but emotionally, energetically, and physically, your body and your brain continues to hold on to it because it's protecting you from something that it perceives as danger. And that danger is typically just the unknown. When your brain and your body does not have evidence of the fact that it is safe to attract what you desire versus chase it, then it's going to believe that attracting things is not safe. Or there's going to be a lack of faith, a lack of trust in the fact that that is possible. So therefore, there's this subconscious belief in the fact that it's not safe to embody that belief in the first place. Whereas if you have a track record of going and chasing after what you want and accomplishing it on some sort of level, then you've created the evidence in the fact that it is safe for you to chase. All of the time that we're experiencing some sort of negative habit or pattern or something that we're unhappy with over and over again, even though consciously we can look at it and be like, ugh, this isn't serving me in any sort of way, the truth and the reality is that on a subconscious level, it is supporting you because it's keeping you safe. And so for an example on this, if you have had the belief for your entire life that you are a hard worker and that you receive the things that you desire in your life because you're really good at buckling down and getting shit done, then your brain has created a positive association with hard work, even if that hard work leaves you feeling drained, burned out, and like you can't actually continue to move the needle forward in the way that you want to. So then the idea of things being easy for you, things naturally showing up in your life, things being effortless, that sends alarm signals off to your subconscious mind and to your body, to your nervous system, that that's not safe because you've created this positive association with being a hard worker, even when you are completely burnt out. So therefore, your body and your brain will have a hard time accepting and welcoming in that new belief of the fact that things can be easy for you. And like I mentioned, this is why it's so important for you to actually dive deep into the deep subconscious reprogramming and to the somatic healing, because while it's not quote unquote necessary to manifest the things that you desire into your life, it is very beneficial for you to feel as though you're manifesting the things that you desire without constantly having to work so damn hard for them. That's definitely something that I used to experience in my life, was this feeling of like pride in being such a hard worker, even though it would completely burn me out and leave me in the position where I had absolutely nothing left to give. That was safer to me than what my now reality is after doing the inner work and really sorting through the different mental, emotional, physical blockages that I had to being in a receptive state, being in my feminine energy, being a clear channel for the manifestations, because that didn't feel safe. So with that being said, let's talk about a few different ways that you can actually start to create this safety for yourself and start to eliminate some of those old associations that you've created that are taking up space and disconnecting you from ease and flow in your life so that you actually can step into the position where you are attracting instead of chasing what you desire in your life. First things first, if this is resonating with you, if you are seeing and understanding that you do have a mental or physical blockage to things being easy for you and to you naturally attracting the things that you desire into your life, you want to put yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy. And the Abundant AF Babe Academy is my signature online manifestation program that has been specifically designed to help you manifest more money, abundance, and freedom without having to work so damn hard for it. Inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy, you learn not only how to attract and manifest more money into your life with that ease, but we're also doing the deep subconscious reprogramming and somatic healing to help you become the clear channel for your manifestations and set you up with this rock solid foundation so that manifesting feels easy, effortless, natural, now and for the rest of your life. This is something that I want to be a long-lasting, sustainable process for you versus a lot of the different manifestation tips and tricks out there that will get you a quick win, but then will crash and burn after the fact. Because what is the point of manifesting something if that is going to be the reality of it? So the Abundant AF Babe Academy, we are coming up on our 3rd year anniversary, and enrollment for it is going to be opening later this month in October. So if you are ready to transform your life, transform your belief system, your finances, and the way that you just generally feel on a day-to-day basis, then click the link down below in the show notes to put your name on the wait list. I've now walked over 400 women through this exact process and have helped them step into the position of being the powerful creators of their reality. And you can be one of those women as well. So with that being said, in addition to this, one of the most major things that you want to focus on to create that safety inside of yourself, to start to create space for these new supportive beliefs and things that are actually going to allow you to manifest and attract what you want versus have to chase it, is nervous system regulation. And if you are big into following manifestation accounts or personal development accounts or online coaching accounts on Instagram or TikTok, you've probably heard people mention nervous system regulation a lot, but you probably also haven't gotten any information on how you can actually regulate your nervous system, because for some damn reason, it's a hot word at the moment, but people don't actually then teach you how to regulate your nervous system. So let's talk about nervous system regulation, and let's talk about how you can do some very simple things on a day-to-day basis to be in a more regulated state. Because when you are in a regulated nervous system state, then you are more receptive to being able to shift and change your belief systems, as well as manifest the things that you desire into your life. And just quickly on that, the reason for that being is because when you're in a dysregulated nervous system state, you're typically in survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, there's not a lot of energetic space for you to be open and receptive to your manifestations, because you're literally just trying to survive. You're hustling, you're rushing, you're moving about your day in a very chaotic way, or you're hiding, you're retreating, you are kind of like numbing yourself out from the world as a way to respond to the overstimulation and the dysregulation that you're experiencing. So that is not a very receptive state for manifestation. Whereas when you have a regulated nervous system, when you are in your parasympathetic nervous system, that is the state of rest and digest. That is the state of cellular healing. That is the state of mental and emotional healing. And that is where your body feels safe. So when you have a regulated nervous system, your body feels safe. And when you feel safe, you are much more capable of being open and receptive to new belief systems, new ways of being, new actions, new behaviors that are ultimately going to shift your vibration. And by shifting your vibration, then attracting more of the abundance that you desire into your life. So let's talk about 3 different ways that you can regulate your nervous system. I actually did a Instagram live training on this a few weeks back. So if you're wanting like a full hour's worth of nervous system regulation and different things that you can do, definitely go check out my Instagram. I'll have that link down below in the show notes as well so that you can like really dive into that. There's also a supporting inner work guide that I created for that training. So if you message me over on Instagram when you watch that video, then I can send you that guide and you can dive even deeper into this. But like I said, 3 different ways that you can start to regulate your nervous system. First one is by using your breath. So our breath is the master controller inside of our bodies for our emotion and for our physical state. And while our breath is something that we are automatically doing and it's something that we don't have to think about, it's really important to think about it. It's really important to be in tune, aware, and intentional with your breath, because think about it. We can go days and days without food. We can go days without water, but we can only go a matter of minutes without breathing. And for the majority of people, when you are in this state, especially of chasing versus attracting, you're typically breathing very shallow and from your chest. And when you are only taking those very like shallow, short breaths from your chest, then you are activating your sympathetic nervous system, which is putting you into that survival mode. Versus becoming more intentional with your breath, dropping your breath down into your stomach, taking big, deep, full belly breaths, slowing the breath down, then that is also going to slow down and regulate your nervous system. And by slowing down and regulating your nervous system, you're sending those signals to your body that you are safe. So the more that you're intentional with your breath, taking those big, deep breaths, connecting with the breath, tuning into if you need some bigger breaths, if you need some slower breaths, then that is going to help you really regulate the nervous system. And a lot of people will do this as a practice for meditation, and I highly believe in and suggest finding some sort of regular breathing practice, whether it be through meditation or through transformational breath work or some sort of form. But take this beyond those practices, because it's really powerful for us to take those few moments every single day to do that. But the rest of our lives are lived in the in-between moments. And if you're only doing these practices in those short periods of time, then it's better than nothing, but it's also not going to make a massive impact on your day-to-day life. Whereas coming to this very intentional place with your breath as often as you possibly can, really bringing your focus, whether it be like every single time you take a sip of water or your coffee, or you sit down in a chair, or you're having a conversation, you focus your breath down into your belly and you take some deep, full breaths as you're doing it, then that is going to make a world of difference when it comes to having a regulated nervous system. And so wherever you're at right now, actually take a moment to just take a few big, deep breaths into your belly and out through your mouth. Even if you're driving, you don't have to close your eyes. And if you are driving, please don't close your eyes. But take a moment to take some big, deep, full breaths. Notice how big of a shift that small action can make on the way that you feel physically, mentally, and emotionally, because it's massive and it's so transformational. It's so accessible. It's right here at your fingertips. And the coolest thing about the breath is that you can play around with it in so many different ways to get different results from it. And in addition to that, another way that you can really help regulate your nervous system is by humming as you exhale, because when you hum as you're exhaling, you're stimulating the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is part of the nervous system and helps in that process of regulating it and bringing you into a parasympathetic rest and digest state. So like I've been saying, like I've been rambling on now about, use your breath. It is one of the most powerful and the most accessible tool you have to regulate your nervous system, and it will make such a massive impact if you become more intentional with your breath. Second thing that you can do is be very intentional and aware of how much physical stress you are putting on the body. So a lot of the times when people talk about nervous system regulation, they're simply talking about it from a like mental and emotional standpoint, but oftentimes our nervous systems are actually dysregulated because of the physical aspect of things. So what do I mean by this? Becoming more intentional with what substances you're putting into your body. What foods are you eating? Are they highly processed? Do they have a ton of sugar? Are they inflammatory? Because if they are, then that is creating stress inside of the body, and that stress is then going to dysregulate your nervous system. Same with if you are out super late all of the time, drinking, partying, doing your thing. Girl, I've been there. I've done it. I'm not shaming you. I'm not blaming you. But I do want to bring this awareness to you in the fact that that is creating physical stress for your body and therefore creating a dysregulated nervous system. Are you constantly doing high intensity workouts or straining yourself, straining your body beyond the point that it actually is capable of going to? Do you notice that you're exhausted all of the time because of how much weight, how much pressure, how much physical activity or labor you're actually doing? If yes, that is a sign that you are putting that stress on your body and therefore creating a dysregulated nervous system. And so, like I said, becoming very aware of how much stress you are putting on your physical body and starting to become more intentional with the different foods that you're putting inside of your body, really aiming to get nutrient-dense whole foods that are going to nourish your body versus stress your body out. Becoming aware of your sugar and your caffeine consumption and seeing if there's a way that you can minimize that so that you are not stressing your body out as much. Checking in with your alcohol consumption or what you are doing in terms of your sleep schedule so that you can really come back into this place of providing a safe environment for your body. Because the more that you can show up and nourish your body, the more you're going to have a regulated nervous system and the more safe your body is going to feel to then actually welcome in some of these manifestations and new supportive beliefs that we've been talking about throughout this podcast episode. And then lastly, your third way that you can start to regulate your nervous system is doing somatic healing. So if you've listened to the podcast, you've heard me talk a ton about somatic healing. If you've been a part of my programs, you have done somatic healing because somatic healing is one of the most beneficial things that you can do for your nervous system because any of the past experiences, traumas, stagnant energy that is living inside of your body is impacting your nervous system. And without releasing and somatically moving through those different things, then your body is going to continue to be activated and triggered by the past traumas and stagnant energy that's living and existing inside of it and lead you to having a dysregulated nervous system. And I know that's kind of frustrating because it's like, well, fuck, there's probably lots of things. But instead of being frustrated by that, I want you to see this as an opportunity and to see it as an invitation to actually start to address those things. I know that it's not fun. I know it's not easy. And I know that we always say to ourselves, well, yep, I'll do that next week or next month, or I'm going to have this season where I'm going to go all in on working through these things from the past. And there's never going to be a like quote unquote good time or perfect time or opportune time to do it. But the sooner that you do it, the sooner you restore that health inside of your body, inside of your brain, and therefore inside of your nervous system. A lot of the times, I think that when people listen to manifestation podcasts or whatever it may be, it's truly because they want to manifest more money or the car or the house or the boyfriend or whatever it may be. But the true benefit of going on a manifestation journey and doing this healing work is, yes, those things will come as a byproduct of you doing it, but you're actually taking care of yourself and taking care of your health here and now, as well as for years and years to come. Because if you can rid yourself of the trauma and of the stagnant energy that you're hanging onto inside of your body now, then you're actually doing the most powerful thing that you could for future versions of yourself that otherwise could experience disease or something completely like harmful due to the fact that you hadn't processed through your trauma. So somatic healing is so important for you to do if you want a regulated nervous system. And like I mentioned, this is exactly what we dive into inside of the Abundant AF Babe Academy together. This is one of the most major things that we focus on because, like I said, in my life and in my experience, it's been so much more than just manifesting the money. It's been so much more than just manifesting the cool experiences, the opportunities to travel, so on and so forth. And those things have actually become effortless for me to manifest now that I have a regulated nervous system, because I feel safe enough to step into the unknown and continue to call in greater and greater levels of abundance. But without that somatic healing, I would still be living in a state where I was chasing and not feeling safe, and therefore living in survival mode, and that survival mode impacting what I'm capable of and also impacting my vibration and what you can manifest as a byproduct of that. This is so much deeper than just the money, just the abundance, just the boyfriend, just the physical material things that we all have the desire to manifest. This is about you feeling like the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest, best version of yourself on a day-to-day basis, because that's when you become magnetic to your manifestations. That's when you attract instead of chase. That is where this affirmation of I don't chase, I attract, what belongs to me simply finds me becomes the truth for you. So if you want the affirmation of I don't chase, I attract to be your baseline, if you want that to be what rules and creates the results in your life, then again, put yourself on the wait list for the Abundant AF Babe Academy, because this is exactly what I will teach you how to do inside of it. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. I'm here to support you and make sure that you know that this program is going to be the best fit for you. You can reach out to me on Instagram. But with that being said, that's all that I have for you on today's podcast episode. I hope that it was helpful for you, and we'll chat with you on the next one.